Do you want to know how a nation can lose $34 billion in damages? It's quite simple, really. You let the vultures go nearly extinct. In fact, you will have to kill about 80 million of them. If I told you that the death of the Indian vulture would cost you an entire Mark Zuckerberg, would you believe it? Well, believe it. Our story begins at the Tower of Silence, where the Parsi community used to believe that the way to the heavens was letting the dead be eaten by vultures. It's a pretty noble use for a dead body. But then the vultures started to vanish, faster than the Parsis. Who would have thought? And then the community started to notice. Can you imagine going, dude, it's been 3 months and Nanu's still around, why aren't they eating us? Because there were none left. In 2002, this super conservative community decided to opt for cremations instead. With a population of 80 million white-rump vultures in 1980, it was the most dominant species of raptor in India. Now there are a few thousand left. It's the fastest decline we have seen of a bird species in recorded human history. In fact, it even beat the bloody dodo. What did you expect? You live in the mountains, you cannot fly, and your meat and egg are delicious. From 1997 to 2002, the Indian vulture population has declined at a head-spinning 99.7%. In just 5 freaking years, you know you're in trouble when Parsis start to outpopulate you. How did this happen? Did Ravan turn up and think that every vulture was Jatayu? Did vultures decide to go on useless juice-only diet?
Unreal, 100% fat-free, Bava-free.
Or did the RSS wipe them out for eating beef? Well, the truth is, drugs. Nah, not that kind of drugs. Not everything is about that. The drug we're talking about is diclofenac, and it was discovered to be the cause by Dr. Lindsay Oakes in 2003. Diclofenac is a common anti-inflammatory drug administered to farm animals to treat symptoms of fevers and things related to disease and wounds. Basically, bhais bakri ka krosin tha wo.
So here's how it happens. You are a farmer and your cow is complaining of a headache. You give her diclofenac and everything is dandy. Then they go about eating everything in its path, from grass to plastic bags. After which it dies of obviously natural causes. Then our scavenging protagonist slowly turns into a victim by eating unprocessed cold cuts, which eventually leads to liver failure, and death is certain.
And if you think these buggers are vultures, no, these are kites, bro. Vultures are way uglier.
I am beautiful, no matter what they say.
So, let me reiterate. We had 80 million vultures at one point of time, and now we barely have a few thousand. We were losing them at 30 to 70% per year since 2007. And even though diclofenac was taken off the market in 2006, it is still easily available because India hai bro. And besides, when the hell have pharma companies given a shit about anything other than making cash paper? Now hang on a second. I really want you to think about this. Just really think about this. The drug was supposedly taken off the market in 2006. Dr. Oakes discovered it to be the cause in 2003. But the Parsis, they reformed their funeral practices in 2002. That means the Parsis were onto it first. So good job, humans. Good fucking job. We've done it again. We've killed off another species. And if you think that the death of the Indian vulture is not a big deal and it doesn't affect us in any way, here are some facts for you to ponder over. The most rapid decline in history of such a large population. Like, do you really want to win that contest? A huge rise in the population of wild feral dogs. And these are not the friendly kinds that you see tagged on your Facebook timeline. These guys are angry all the time. An increase in the number of transmissible diseases such as the anthrax or the plague, which increases the chances of a serious epidemic. 30,000 deaths from rabies annually. 70% of those are children under 15. That is more effective than terrorism, which killed 18,000 people in 2013. And since the vulture used to eat dead things in the wild as well, we have contaminated many of our sources of fresh water. And the economic cost to India through all of this? 34 billion US dollars. If I told you that the death of the Indian vulture would cost you an entire Mark Zuckerberg, would you believe it? Well, believe it. And the sad thing is, for this to happen in India of all the places, where the vulture is not only of an environmental, but religious and cultural significance as well, is just so fucking depressing. And the fact is, we all missed it. We only seem to care about animals that are beautiful or awe-inspiring. But the environment needs players like the vultures to ensure it has a balance. Just because it's a weird-looking scavenger buzzard does not mean it doesn't deserve to be looked after. An entire species should not vanish so quickly. An entire species should not disappear during a kindergartner's lifetime. And quite frankly, it's stuff like this that makes me skeptical about having children of my own. Because if I cannot promise them a future not filled with rabies, anthrax and wild dogs, I don't think it's worth it. Did you know that the BCCI does not have a players association? So if a player wants to voice any complaints, they can go fuck themselves. And that is just the tip of the iceberg.